Most of the settlers Austin recruited came from the southern slave-owning portions of the United States. Under Austin's development scheme, each settler was allowed to purchase an additional 50 acres of land for each slave he brought to the territory. At the same time, however, Mexico offered full citizenship to free blacks, including land ownership and other privileges. The province continued to attract free blacks and escaped slaves from the southern United States. Favorable conditions for free blacks continued into the 1830s.
So right, that was mainly due to that Vicente Guerrero, the so-called black man. He the one created the rights and for Issachar and Judah, you know, and then they also abolished. He did away with slavery. So they did allow them to bring their slaves over, but it's gonna get into that about the making them indentured servants, I believe. But yeah, you just continue reading, brother.
In 1823, Mexico forbade the sale or purchase of slaves and required that children of slaves be freed when they reached age 14. By 1825, however, a census of Austin's colony showed 1,347 Anglo-Americans and 443 people of African descent, including a small number of free Negroes. In 1827, the legislature of Coahuila, Tejas outlawed the introduction of additional slaves and granted freedom at birth to all children born to a slave.
And who was the head of that government? Vicente Guerrero at that point. Vicente Guerrero, he was the ruler. Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. In 1829, Mexico abolished slavery, but it granted an exception until 1830 to Texas. That year, Mexico made the importation of slaves illegal. Anglo-American immigration to the province slowed at this point.
Right, because now they got laws in place for no slavery in Texas. So now they was like, well, it ain't no reason the so-called white man slowed up their migration into Texas because they couldn't make no money. The slaves was their money for picking their cotton and whatever else, you know.
Anglo-American immigration to the province slowed at this point, with settlers angry about the changing rules.
Settlers angry? Who? Stephen F. Austin and all his families that he got over here, in the land of Texas.
To circumvent the law, numerous Anglo-American colonists converted their slaves to indentured servants, but with life terms. Others simply called their slaves indentured servants without legally changing their status. Slaveholders trying to enter Mexico would force their slaves to sign contracts claiming that the slaves owed money and would work to pay the debt. Showing you this is the devil, man. The low wages the slaves would receive made repayment impossible. The debt would be inherited even though no slave would receive wages until age 18.
So they had it to where you was an indentured servant for life. You could never pay off your debt, and then you wouldn't even receive payment for the work you do until 18 years. You know.
Now we in this same situation, man. We living paycheck to paycheck. Like me and this brother was talking with another one of the brothers, man. You know, if anything happened, we'd go into debt, man. Like, you know, Lord forbid, a hospital visit, or shit, you get a ticket from the police, that throw all your shit off, man.
Right, and then we already trying to pay on probably the other debt. But right. Brother talking about actually just your living, you know, your rent and or whatever you got rent and your actual bills that's due. All it takes is basically one thing to arise, one inconvenience through the so-called white man with his fucked up system, and that'll mess up your whole routine.
Gone. And see, Esau had his slaves over a barrel, man. Just like he has us over a barrel, you know. I'm gonna continue this. It says, I'm gonna read that sentence again. It says, the low wages the slave would receive made repayment impossible, and the debt would be inherited even though no slave would receive wages until age 18. In 1832, the state passed legislation prohibiting worker contracts from lasting more than 10 years.
Right, so they didn't get to fulfill that, but that was the initial proposal. But basically, it was still Guerrero at this point that said, nah, if they're indentured servants, they owe you, then that can only last for 10 years. And then that was bullshit, because they didn't owe the white man shit. They just forced them, like the brother read earlier, to sign a contract with a lot of them slaves was illiterate. They couldn't even read what they were signing. So they signed the documents, and they just like Jake do today, unknowingly through contracts, making yourself an indentured servant or a contractual slave. Yeah. You know, and that's basically what they did. So now they was forced to sign these contracts, and they was indentured servants.
Isaiah 10:1.
Well, shit, get it. Real quick, and that brother.
It's Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed.
So-called white man. He did it with the Native American. He did it with everybody. Native Americans, Reuben. You can't trust him. If he got a contract set up for you to sign, you better believe if it's a just contract, he gonna break it, or it's all kind of wickedness clauses in that contract. Unrighteous clauses in that contract.
Go on.
Go ahead, brother. Oh, there's more in there?
You got some more?
Yeah. Second verse, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people.
Right, to take away the right from Jake, the so-called white man, to take your rights away through his unrighteous decrees. Go ahead.
That widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
And that they may rob you. Rob you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's what the so-called white man is about. And you sign over your robbery. I mean, you sign yourself over to get robbed, you know?
Yeah.
And we all got to do it on these jobs. That's robbery in itself.
Exactly.
You got to sign all that paperwork to get the job, and then they rob you of your check. You know? Child support. That's for another time, man. Go ahead, brother.
This is Nahum 1:3. No, Salaki. This is Nahum 3rd chapter. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not.
Right. And today, you know, we're going to finish up this article, but we're not going to, Lord willing, it's going to be a continuation to show you how this land, known as Texas, was separated from Mexico due to the so-called white man basically stealing the land. That's what he did. He stole his land through lies and treachery. You know? So yeah, go ahead.
That's it, brother.
Real quick, we're going to finish up another segment. We're going to go in another segment showing you how, basically what I just said, how the so-called white man got Texas from Mexico. But today we're just going to show you the initial points of how the white man got in here and what caused the so-called white man to say, let's revoke quote-unquote Texas Revolution against Mexico. You know, now it's the start of Texas independence. That's what the white man called it, but it's really Texas robbery from Mexico.
It wasn't about Esau being oppressed. It was about them wanting slaves, man. About them wanting to have their slaves.
Right, and he say the father of Texas. How is he the father? Stephen F. Austin, the father of Texas.
Because the history books, they build these motherfuckers as some type of hero of fighters for justice when they was fighting for injustice.
And then they fighting for justice all the while they got you Negroes in slavery. You know?
Come on.
When we get back to, we're gonna get back into this.
Right, gone. It said many slaves who escaped from masters in Texas or in the United States joined various East Texas Indian tribes. Although not considered equals in the tribes, they were generally treated well. Many former slaves fought with the Cherokee against the Texan army that drove the tribe from East Texas in 1838. Slaves often fought against the Comanche tribe, however.
And they in the date, you see the date jumped up because this is getting more into the time period of when you finna get to the Texas Revolution for what the so-called white man call it, you know. But keep reading, brother.
Slaves often fought against the Comanche tribe. However, the Comanche indiscriminately killed slaves and their white masters during raids. The Comanche sold any captured slaves to the Cherokee and Creek in Indian Territory, as they were both slave-holding tribes.
Right, so that was it. We was going. That's basically it for today, man.
Hey, Salah, can I say something? Because niggas always try to say, see, they owned us, but the scriptures already say that our brother's eyes don't be evil towards the other.
Right,
so,
right. And they were, why was they was been, yeah, well that's basically it. And plus, a lot of them Gadites had already been indoctrinated by Esau, you know, at that time, you know. So, I mean,
then you had Coon and Jake probably helping the white man take him down, so of course they gonna kill your ass, shit.
Right.
Why wouldn't it?
So yeah, you had Jake going against each other, you know, but you know, that's just what it is according to the curses. But that's basically gonna conclude the lesson, man. Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, they wasn't, you know, that they didn't have no immigration issues back then. You know, it wasn't until we continue this lesson, Lord willing, that when the so-called white man got this state before it was a state, that they was not Mexicans as immigrants, and all the tribes, and they just didn't get like Texas. They got other states along the southern coast of America.
Trist was sent on a diplomatic mission to Mexico by U.S. President James K. Polk to arrange an armistice, but Trist disagreed with Polk and ignored his orders to start bargaining with Mexico's President Santa Anna after Mexico lost the war. Trist capitalized on a brilliant diplomatic opportunity by secretly continuing to bargain with President Santa Anna, which resulted in America acquiring much of the land now occupied by California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Nevada, Colorado, and Utah, which facilitated America's westward expansion. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo brought an official end to the 2-year Mexican-American War and was signed on February 2, 1848 at Guadalupe Hidalgo, a city to which the Mexican government had fled with the advance of U.S. forces.
Because if you go into the history, they wanted to buy Texas from Spain, but they never went down, so basically they went another avenue to acquire the land and state of Texas. You know, and I wanted to say that basically through the prohibiting of slavery, that's why they started revolting, because they started by a so-called black man, even though they was off into the Roman Catholicism, hindering they finances through prohibiting slavery. Go ahead. 5:21. Yeah.
The Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than all, yet there were drawn swords.
Right. Because their ultimate plan was they had, when you go through a contract, it ain't like a treaty or a contract, it ain't just you signing it. If you doing business with somebody, it's a contract, you talking to them. You discuss that contract. So the white man comes smooth, but ultimately they in the back of their mind, they want to gain. You know? land, gain the land, and that land and slavery would get them money, more money. So that was you got on this.
Yeah, I want
It's Habakkuk.
Oh yeah,
2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up in Slaki. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man.
Right, that's why you had Jake over here on the Roman Catholicism, because they was on that wine from the so-called white man, which is Roman Catholicism, you know? They got that from the Spaniards, them Edomites. Yeah, go ahead, bro, I know there's more.
Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keep it at home.
Neither keep it at home.
Who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Right, so the so-called white man is about stealing land and bringing oppression and destruction to that land. And that's what that's his motto.
Yeah, let's go right with that, brother.
Yeah, go ahead,
right
bro.
on time. Because the brother read in Habakkuk how the white man don't stay his red crackery ass at home.
Correct.
You know, and this is the curses showing you how the Issachar and the rest of the 12 tribes fit this. You know, and this is Deuteronomy 28. I'm gonna start at 49. It said, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." And that was them Spaniards for you Latin tribes, man. The Spaniards came, you know, from a far nation. At first, y'all didn't understand the Spanish language, you know. It says, "And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land, because he stole your land, until thou be destroyed. Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee."
Right, look at South America, Central America, Mexico, and shit. Really the whole world, but emphasizing on the so-called Latin tribes. You know, right. They poor. Why? Because of the so-called white man covered it and stole their land. And brought what? Hell. Pretty much that's it. It's going to be basically a continuation. We're going to go through, it's going to be another location, and we're going to go through some of these other devils that they got monumented, for lack of better words, or got a monument of them up, erected in the state of Texas. Basically, until next time, you know, we want to give all praises to Yahawahshi, Yahawahshi once again. Double honors to the elders of GMS, and basically peace and blessings. Well, not basically, peace and blessings to all you brothers out there of the elect that's pushing the word in sincerity and truth. Shalom.
Shalom, my y'all.